Hi all and welcome back to the channel. This is Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. In this video, I'll cover the combat, the open world and traversal, the customization, the missions, and the story. As always, I want to do this without wasting your time while still being very clear about what you get and what you can expect. So, let's dive into it. I will start with the basics. Titanic Scion is a sequel to the 2019 mecha action RPG Daemon X Machina. It moves away from heavy, lumbering mechs and instead gives you fast exosuits with much more agility. So yeah, it does feel quite different than the first game. If you loved that one, this might be an adjustment. If you haven't played that one, and if you've played Anthem, the movement will feel familiar. You dash, boost, and fly freely. But the combat works very differently. Targeting is lock-on, and the real challenge comes from knowing your arsenal. Each weapon and system has clear strengths and weaknesses, and fights are about using them at the right moment. Heavy weapons hit hard but slow you down. Rifles need space, and boosting drains your energy. So while it may look like an Anthem-like first-person shooter, it really isn't. It plays more like piloting a machine, managing its limits and making your systems work together. The focus is on piloting your arsenal, a customizable exosuit, while completing contracts, salvaging gear, and exploring large biomes filled with enemies and resources. To prove I don't want to waste your time, let's talk performance before we go deeper into the game itself. For me, it runs better than the demo, but there are still some FPS drops and stutter, especially when you move quickly through the map. Loading times on fast travel are also a bit longer than they should be. Overall, it's perfectly playable, and much better than the demo.
But it's something to keep in mind, because there are people having different experiences. And as always on Steam, use the refund window if you're unsure. With that out of the way, let's talk combat. It's fast but deliberate. Each arsenal can carry multiple weapons at once. Blades for melee, rifles and shotguns for ranged, lasers, shoulder cannons, and auxiliary gear. And you swap between them depending on the situation. Standard enemies go down quickly, but bosses push you to adapt. One might split into clones, another vanish to avoid lock-on, while massive beasts expose weak points you can grab and break. Fights are built around mixing melee and ranged attacks, adjusting your loadout and making full use of your suit's mobility. It doesn't play like a straight third-person shooter, and it isn't a heavy mech sim either. It sits right in between, with the speed of exosuits but the weight of mech systems. Next up is customization. This is what shapes your progression and really drives you forward. For a lot of players, it'll probably be the main reason to play. Am I wrong? Let me know in the comments. You salvage parts from defeated enemies, craft them into new armor or weapons, and then upgrade them with attachments that alter their behavior. Limbs can even be swapped out entirely, like replacing an arm with a built-in weapon. Your pilot can also undergo DNA infusion, grafting infected genes that unlock new melee skills, change appearance, or add abilities like auto-dodge. The whole system is modular, letting you build and adjust your arsenal piece by piece. It actually works in a way that's closer to Warframe's crafting and upgrading loop, where progression comes from reshaping your suit over time instead of relying only on random drops or fixed armor sets. Now let's talk about the missions and the world. The fort is your hub between missions, and also where much of the story unfolds. This is where you interact with characters, see cutscenes, and learn more about the resistance you're part of.
It's also where progression happens. You manage your arsenal in the hangar, modify your pilot in the lab, and shop for upgrades. You can even grab an ice cream for temporary buffs. Missions range from scouting and retrieval to escorts, stealth infiltrations, turret chases, and large boss encounters. Side activities add more variety, like arena duels where you climb ranks for rare gear, or a card-based minigame built around weapon and armor cards. Your rank is what drives the whole loop. Every mission you clear increases it, and higher ranks unlock new contracts, stronger gear, and more options back at the fort. Once you launch, the open world becomes the stage. You begin in a desert, but later explore forests, mountains, and ruined structures, all with dynamic weather and roaming patrols. Exploration uses the full movement system, sprinting, sliding, boosting, flying, and driving vehicles like a buggy or motorbike that later upgrades into a railgun. Out in the field, you scavenge resources, fight enemy patrols, and run into optional bosses. The purpose of the open world isn't free-form sandbox play. It's to gather materials, test your build, and push through missions that advance the story or unlock new gear. It isn't a sandbox. The open world is more structured, closer to Xenoblade or Monster Hunter, where areas exist to stage missions and gather materials. The loop is simple. You prepare in the fort, deploy into the world, fight and salvage, then return with new parts to upgrade. Everything you do feeds into ranking up and reshaping your arsenal, which lets you take on harder missions and tougher enemies. The story takes place centuries after the original.
You play as an Outer, a human altered by red energy, who escapes from a space station and crash lands on a ravaged planet. Rescued by the Reclaimers, a resistance group, you join their fight against the Sovereign Axiom, while also searching for a lost companion. The characters mix comic relief with tension, and the delivery leans into anime-style drama. It frames the action around rebellion and survival, giving context to your missions without slowing the pace. So, to wrap it up, Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion is an open-world exosuit action RPG. It combines fast movement with mech-style combat, gives you a modular crafting system to reshape your arsenal, fills its world with exploration and structured activities, and ties it together with a sci-fi resistance story. That was everything you need to know. Are you planning to jump in? Let me know in the comments. And if you like videos that don't waste your time, please consider liking and subscribing.